test my because it's a whole new headset.
Need that staff? Oh, I saw somebody get an epic version of that yesterday. One interesting thing that I've noticed that I keep having to remind myself is I'm running with level 110 people, but then I'm also running with level 120 people sometimes, like the way the dungeon matchmaking system works. And yesterday, I forgot who it was, but me and this other guy were going back and forth, and I was trying to like do all I can to try to get above his DPS. And I was competitive. I was competitive with the level 120 guy just because I knew how to play the class, or because I was reading the tooltips and finding out like what moves were synergistic. Pete Vega said later, "Alright man, take it easy. Thanks for stopping by, Pete Vega. It's good to see you, man." But yeah, it's interesting to me that you could just do your rotation right and capitalize on opportunities that present itself like from pull to pull, and really get on top of the damage meters even above like the level 120s. And maybe that's because, like, you know, the global cooldown thing, or maybe it's because their class is broken and I'm comparing myself against the broken class, but I still felt like I was contributing in some meaningful way to that run, even as a level 110 noob, or now 111 noob. And I got my blessings and stuff I need to learn how to use better too. Like, there's a lot of opportunities that I could probably be using BOP to help somebody, or even lay on hands. Like, I rarely find myself using that. I could dispel, like I got curse or cleanses on lock if I choose, but like for example this situation, it was on cooldown and somebody else cleansed it. But that's also a global cooldown I'm kind of sacrificing. So is it worth sacrificing doing my primary role to try to help out a healer just to try hard? Or should I really just be leaving that up to the healer and doing my role? So I guess there's all these situations where shit like that presents itself, and you can really play your class, which I kind of enjoy. It seems like it's starting to lean in the correct direction, in my opinion. Of course, I've never really had a complaint about how classes play, and I know in Wrath I had a lot of I had a very, I guess, biased opinion that in Wrath of the Lich King specifically, when homogenous or homogenization started to occur, where every class got a heal, every class got a stun, every class got a utility, like it really kind of took what was special about being even a paladin away. Because I used to be able to do like blessings and hands of salvation and stuff like that, blessing of salvation back when that was a thing, and provide these really kind of weird and obscure support utilities that only I was able to provide. And it felt like in Wrath that was kind of taken away, because I think we did in Wrath lose Hand of Salvation or Blessing of Salvation, and a few other abilities that were, like, in my opinion, hallmarks of the Paladin. Like Divine Intervention was another one. Like, being able to Divine Intervention somebody was a lot like casting a Rebirth or a Soul Stone, or even a Battle Res, or Reincarnate. You know, it was up in that tier of kind of clutch useful abilities that you can't always use, but whenever you do use it the right way, it's like you save the party a wipe. Or with Divine Intervention, you save the party like the run back from like from the wipe. That type of stuff was really cool to me, and it seems like they're starting to try to get back to that a little bit, and I appreciate that. But like I said, I still have fun regardless. Like, I just love the gameplay. And it was interesting to me to, yesterday I was listening to Mike preach while he was streaming, or actually he was doing his TDP, the daily preach, and he was talking about monks. I think he was on a monk. He was a monk tank, and he was talking about how he was never really interested in the storyline, and people asking questions about the storyline in BFA, I guess. but he really has no perspective one way or another. He just always enjoyed WoW for the gameplay. And I feel like that's kind of always been like my view as well. Like, I've only recently started getting into lore just because you can find those communities of people really easily on Discord and Twitch and YouTube of different streamers that, and even content creators on YouTube that actually care about the lore and read all the stories in the books and the comics and stuff like that. And the whole thing around the battle for Argus and the seat of the Pantheon and the mythology and all that stuff, that's been something IRL, like mythologies and archetypes and stuff, have been interesting to me. And it was cool to see that even WoW had some things like that within it that added like some depth to the game, and it from like the way I played it. So like me and my cousin, we went even into the Upper Karazhan, and we were exploring the library of Karazhan where Medivh's books and stuff are sitting, and there's like a whole cosmology map of stars and stuff like that and lore that surrounds all that stuff. And it was just crazy to me that someone paid so much attention to even the design and look of the dungeon to lend itself towards the lore, and that like you could just breeze through that dungeon and not ever notice it, but like for people that cared about it, they could go back and explore that stuff and find out new information and like little hidden Easter eggs and stuff. And it's like a whole part of the game that a lot of people don't even notice or experience. And that's the depths of the game, like how it plays. And I've really, it's just interesting and cool to me. Makes it that much better because there's something for everyone kind of in the game. I know for me, like I've always looked at it as like there's the leveling experience, getting up to max, and that in itself is its own game. And then once you do get to max, the whole kind of like raid progression and PvP and all that stuff that you can do at max level opens itself up to the other half of the game. But for some people, they could argue that pet battles and mounts and transmogs is all another half of the game that's opened up for you even after you finish leveling. Those, like, there really is something for everybody. That's what always has been such, I guess, a big thing for me in video games and gaming is two people from completely different walks of life, like an elderly person and a young person, can step into this arena where, with all the rules being the same, like they could be competitive with each other and find out things about each other that they wouldn't have had the opportunity to learn in real life about that other person. So in a way, it kind of brings you closer to people that you wouldn't actually ever really know or experience before. But yeah, I don't know, I went on a little rant there. I got in the zone. I was just thinking about how these three are separate from this one here, but I guess they port